Okay, we are back for some more online Pilates. Today is going to be more of a flexibility or mobility stretching kind of session. A lot of people are doing Red January, so they're doing something every day, or they're doing a lot more running than they have been before, so people are tending to be quite sore. A poll up on Instagram, and most people wanted a mixture of full body. So some upper body to start with, and then some lower body later on. I'm not recommending this one for any of my pregnant clients because we were going to lay it on your front. Okay, if you want to work around that, you can probably do the lower body stuff, but you're not going to be able to do the upper body stuff because we'll be laying on our front a lot of the time. Okay, so I would miss this one out if you are pregnant currently. If you haven't got a bump and you're pregnant, so like first trimester, you can do it. If you're second trimester or third trimester, I would not be doing this one today, especially the first half. Okay, let's get started. How this one is going to work today, we are going to have upper body to start with mainly, lower back, upper body, shoulders, that kind of stuff. And it is a mixture of static and dynamic holds and movements, roughly a minute on each thing before we move on. And we're going to go through the sequence twice on the upper body, and then we'll move to the lower body. Again, minute, some static, some dynamic, working all of one side first and then all of the other, and then we'll go through the whole thing again. In total, you have got 30 minutes of stretching effectively, obviously including the introduction and whatever in between is a little bit long video in general. But yeah, 30 minutes of actual stretching. If you want to stop after all of the upper body stuff and do it once more through, you can. If you just want to do the upper body, you can just skip straight to the lower body. I'll put little separators in so you can just go and do the lower body if you just wanted to do the lower body part, okay? Before I forget, it might also be helpful to have a pillow or a folded up towel or a hoodie that is folded up, just because we're going to be on our knees for a prolonged period of time, especially on one knee when we're doing some lunge-based stuff, so it might be helpful to cushion your knee. Okay, we're going to start at the backs of our mat. Your feet are going to be underneath your hips. I'm just going to transition down to the floor. So I want you to tuck your chin, roll your shoulders, and creep your way, tiny piece of your spine at a time, down towards the ground. So I'm peeling myself off of an imaginary wall behind me and just creeping my way down into this kind of super duper relaxed forward folded position, gazing through my legs, hands dangling down towards the floor, shoulders relaxed, chin tucked. You're going to feel a decompression through your lower spine. Spend a few breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more in, and out. If your hands are not flat on the floor, bend your legs so that your palms go flat, and walk your hands out into a high plank position, and then drop to your knees and untuck your toes. You should be down like a tabletop position, so your wrists are under your shoulders, and your knees are underneath your hips. We're going to go through a minute of cats and cows. So we're going to drop our belly button down, gaze forward, create a big dip in our back, and then we're going to press our back towards the sky, making a big arch, looking through towards our legs, pressing our spine up towards the sky. And we're just going to keep alternating between those two positions for a minute. You are 15 seconds in already. So pressing the spine up nice and tall towards the sky, pressing through the shoulder blades. And then belly button drops towards the floor, gazing forward, making that big dip or that kind of bowl shape in your back, halfway. Keep slowly transitioning, taking a second at each end of the range of motion. Gazing up, belly button drops. And then tucking the chin, looking through towards the legs, pressing the spine towards the sky. Taking your time here, 10 more seconds left on this one, and then we're going to go into some downward dogs and some cobras. So one more transition. From here, you're going to walk your hands a little bit further out. You're going to drop your hips towards the floor. This is your cobra position. So my hips are going towards the floor, my chest is open forward, my feet are relaxed. I will tuck my toes, and I will either go up onto my knees and then press my hips through towards the sky in this downward facing dog. And then I'll come back down to my knees, and then I'll go back into that cobra. So you're going again between the two ranges of motion. You've got two ends of the range of motion. If you want to go straight up without going to your knees in between to the downward dog, you can. Heels towards the floor. Head through towards the legs in the downward dog, hips high, and then down into your cobra. Again, you're over halfway through this one. Spend a second at each end of the range of motion. Just transition nice and smoothly, however you can, in between the two. 10 more seconds left on this one. One more time, transitioning up. And then back down. Awesome. Come to laying on your front for me, arms extended out into a T. So my forehead is in the ground, my arms are extended out to the side. I'm going to bring one foot over towards my opposite hand and gaze away from where my foot has just gone. Bring that back into the middle and then over to the other side. It's called a scorpion twist. So we're laying on our front in that T and then we rotate round so our foot is aiming towards our hand. Big twist through the mid-back, gazing away from the direction that the foot has just travelled. 30 more seconds left on these. Twisting foot towards opposite hand. Gazing away from the direction that the foot is travelling. 15 seconds left. Just keep alternating between sides. Twisting from left to right. Awesome. One more. And then come back into the centre and press back up onto your hands and your knees for me. We're going to look at some thread the needles. So you will either go straight up and look towards the sky, hand comes back down, or you will thread through your opposite arm, shoulder towards the floor, and then you will rotate towards the sky. You're going to alternate arms, so you can either thread and then go to the sky, or just go to the sky without threading, completely up to you. Just alternate arms every time. Shoulder to the floor, and then rotate to the sky. Or do not thread the needle, just go straight up to the sky. Trying to get that shoulder as close to the ground as possible with a big twist. Look up towards the ceiling. Cool. 15 seconds left on these. Keep swapping sides each time. One more. You're going to take your toes together, your knees wide, you're going to push your hips back towards your heels, you're going to reach long, and you're going to try to get your chest and your chin towards the floor. You can also do this on your forearms if it is more comfortable for you, you don't have to be flat to the ground. You're just going to try and relax here. With every exhale, press your hips further back towards your heels and reach longer with your fingers. Spending a minute here. With 20 seconds in, just try and relax into this position. Feel your lower back decompress. And with every exhale, sink deeper into it. Just trying to find a nice relaxed position. 10 more seconds on this one. Cool, 5 more. Keeping your hips still, you're going to take your left hand to the left edge of your mat or slightly round. And then your right hand's going to come on top. So you're now twisted slightly to the side, the same position, your head's still going down towards the floor, your chest is towards the floor. You can do this in your forearms as well. You should do this down the side of your back, so away from where you've twisted, the other side. Long stretch down the side of your back. Again, 1 minute here, trying to relax. Every exhale, try to sit further back into those heels. 20 more seconds left on this side. Sinking that chest and that forehead towards the ground. Ten seconds and then we're swapping side and we're doing a minute over the other side as well. In your own time, right hand comes around to the right side of the mat, left hand goes on top, chest down towards the floor. So exactly the same as you did on the left hand side, we're now over the right hand side of the mat. Long stretch down the side of that body. Trying to relax into it with every exhale. 1 minute here. 20 more seconds left on this side. Cool. 5 seconds left here, and that's once through our upper body. So we're going to go through all of those again. So in your own time, come back up to your hands and your knees. And we're going to go through those cats and those cows again. So drop your belly button down, look forward, and then press your spine towards the sky, look through towards your legs. Slowly transitioning between the two. Take a second each end of the range of motion. Take your time, no rush. Just trying to get as much flexion and extension through that spine as possible. Breathing nice and naturally. We've got just over 20 seconds left here. 15 now. Nice and slow in between each position. Again, pressing the shoulder blades up towards the sky, looking through. And then belly button towards the floor, head up and open. 5 more seconds, one more transition. Good. Coming forward into that cobra position, so hips drop towards the floor, chest is tall, tuck the toes, press into downward facing dog. And again, transition between these two positions. Take your time at each end of the range of motion. If you like, you can pedal your feet in your downward facing dog, and then come back to your cobra, completely up to you. We're trying to get that head and that chest through towards our legs. We are halfway through this one. Nice and slow, take a little bit of time at each end of the range of motion. No rush. 10 seconds left here. Perfect. Coming down onto our fronts. Arms extend out into that T shape. Forehead in towards the ground. One foot across towards the opposite hand. Look away from the foot. Scorpion twists. And again, swapping sides, alternating between the two positions. Big twist through that mid-back. Gazing away from the foot that is moving. Again, take your time, no rush. Halfway through these, spend a second at each end. Feel that stretch through that back, that rotation. Don't force it, let it go as far as it can. It shouldn't be painful. 10 more seconds left here. Last one. You're going to come back up onto your hands and your knees, and we're going to thread the needle, or we're just going to reach for the sky again. So we're going to go under, shoulder to the floor, and then reach up towards the sky, or you're going to lose the thread, so let's go straight up to the sky. Completely up to you. Thread the needle, reach around towards the sky. Swapping hands each time again. We're going to do a minute here. Take time, big twist through the spine, look up to the sky. Try and get that shoulder as close to the ground. And then rotating as much as possible up towards the ceiling. Just over 20 seconds left here. No rush. It's not about flying through it all. Get as much out of each rotation as you possibly can. Perfect, last one. And then we're going into our child's pose for a minute again. Perfect, toes come together, knees go wide, hips back towards heels, head and chest down towards the floor, arms reaching long. Again, use your exhale to relax into it. This is a central child's pose. So hands down the middle, relax into the floor, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just chill here for a minute. Reaching long through the fingertips, Hips going towards the toes, you are over halfway. Five more seconds, and then we're going to go over to the left-hand side of the mat. So we'll take our left hand to the edge of our mat. We'll slightly twist round, and then the right hand goes on top. Long stretch down the side of that body. Again, 1 minute relaxing here. Every exhale, sinking deeper into it. Longer stretch down the side of that body. Halfway, 30 more seconds left on this side. Ten seconds, and then we're going to swap to our other arm or our other side. Whenever you're ready, right hand comes across, left hand goes on top. Head through towards the floor, hips back towards the heels. Getting as long as possible from our hips to our fingertips. Trying to get our chest and our head down towards the floor. Again, we can be doing this on forearms, that is not an issue. Seconds remaining on this side, and then your upper body section will be complete. Last inhale and exhale here. And then you're going to come back up to seated. Good job, that is all of the upper body stuff done. If you just want to do the upper body stuff, you can pause it and you can go through one more time, or we are now going to go on to the lower body stuff. Okay, we are now going to move on to the lower body. This is the part where you will need a towel or a roll-up jumper if you have little sensitive knees that don't like to be pressed into the ground for too long. So we're going to start with the right hand side of the body, or the right hand leg forward even. Back knee goes on your towel or your support, and then right leg comes forward into a deep lunge. So my torso is staying upright, it's pointed forward, and I'm pressing my hips down into the floor. Feel a long stretch up the inside or the front of this leg. Front knee shouldn't be going past front toes, and your back and your front heel shouldn't be lifted. If it is, shuffle your front foot a little bit further forward. 30 more seconds left here. Chest staying up and open, hips both pointed forwards, and then pressing down into the ground. Okay, 10 more seconds left in this position. From here, you're going to keep your feet in the same position. You're just going to sit back. So you're going to send your hips back towards your heel, lift up onto your front heel, and then lean forward down over your leg. You feel this one up the back of the front leg. Hands can go either side for support. You don't want to be sat on your back heel for this one, because you want to still be able to feel some tension through this front leg. So leaning forward over the leg, toes are lifted, chest folded over the front leg. Halfway through this one. Trying to relax. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 20 seconds left here. Last 5 seconds. Then we're just going to transition between those two positions. So dynamically move between the two. So So I'll shift forward, my chest will open into that deep lunge, and then I'll sit back and feel that stretch down the back of my hamstring. I'm just going to keep switching between the two for this full minute. Same two positions we just did, but just dynamically moving between the two, swapping nice and slowly, spending again a second at each end. Nothing changes about the movements, they're just dynamic from one to another. 20 more seconds left here. Last 10, so one more in each direction. Lovely. From here, this front foot, you're going to shuffle it across the mat. You're then going to drop your knee to where your foot originally was, and then you're going to sit over the top of that leg. This is a pigeon. The further your foot is towards the front of the mat, and the more parallel your leg is to the front of that mat, the deeper that stretch is going to be, and the more flexibility you have through your glutes. So you're trying to get this front foot slightly higher up, making that shin as vertical as possible to that top of that mat. But you do not want to be rocked your hips away from the foot, your hips want to be over the top of the foot. So only bring that foot up as high as you can with your hips still being positioned over the top of the ankle. Hope that makes sense. 15 more seconds here, and then move on to all four of those on the other side. Okay, very slowly coming out of that one and swap it over. So onto the other knee, other foot forward, deep lunge. So again, front heel wants to be on the ground. Ideally, your front knee doesn't want to go past your front heel, sitting up nice and tall, and then pressing my hips down to the floor, feeling that stretch through that front hip flexor. Both hips pointing forward towards the end of your mat. We're doing a minute here again, just like we did on the other side. Halfway. If these are quite difficult, you don't have to hold them for the full minute. You can come out, give it a little bit of a shake off, and then go back in. That is not a problem. Just looking for you to kind of relax into the position across the minute. It should hopefully get easier the longer you spend in it. 15 seconds. Okay. In your own time, sitting back, lifting the front heel, straightening the front leg, and then leaning over that front leg. So my hips back towards my heel, I've straightened my front leg, and I've lifted my toes, and now I'm leaning forward over that leg, feeling a long stretch up the back of the front leg. Again, holding this position for a minute. Nice and relaxed, breathing nice and naturally. Feeling that long stretch down the back of the leg. Only going as far as is comfortable, but when you feel that stretch. You're over halfway, you've got about 15 seconds left on this one. And then just like we did before, we're going to transition between the two positions that we've just done. Okay, from here, come back into your deep lunge, chest opens nice and tall. And then sit back over the heel, straighten the front leg, lean forward. And again, just swapping, transitioning from one position to another. Take your time, no rush. Hips go down towards the ground, and then try to straighten and bend forward over that leg as much as possible as you sit back. Taking a second or two at each end of the range of motion. Before sitting back. 20 seconds left here, and then we're going to go into our pigeon. Hopefully this should be getting easier the more you're doing it. Being slightly less stiff. Okay, From here, take that front foot across the mat. Drop your knee to roughly where that front foot was, and then bring your hips over the top of that ankle. Lay forward down to your mat. You should feel this in your butt, hopefully, and maybe into the front of your hip a little bit. Again, trying to get that shin as parallel as possible to the front of the mat, but only so much so that you can keep your hips over the top of that ankle. Halfway, 30 more seconds left here. And again, just trying to sink into it, relaxing. Seconds, and then we're going to go back to our first leg and we're going to run through it all again. So that's one lot of it done. We're now going to go through the whole thing again. Slowly climbing back up, bring that leg out, swapping the pad over to your knee, and again a minute in this deep lunge position. So we're back to that first leg that we used. Thinking about chest and head up. Facing forward, hips facing forwards, front knee is not over front toes, heel is into the ground, we're pressing our hips down into the floor. And as always, if you need to come out, give your hip a rest, and then go back in. We're typically quite tight in these hip flexors if we sit a lot during the day. So if you have an office-based job, or you drive a lot, your hip flexors tend to be quite tight. 20 more seconds. And then we're going to go into our hamstring stretch on this side. Just breathing nice and naturally, trying to relax into this position. And in your own time, you're going to send your hips back towards your heels, straighten your front leg, lift your toes off onto your heel of your front foot, hands either side of the leg, and then lean forward over to feel that stretch up the back of that front leg. Nice and relaxed. Let the back of that leg lengthen out. Toes pointed up towards the skies and the foot's flexed. Halfway through this one. And again, with all of these, if you need to come out of it, you can. 20 more seconds in this position. Last 10 seconds, and then we're going to switch between the two again. So we're going to be dynamic between the two positions. In your own time, going forward into your deep lunge, and then back into that hamstring stretch. So the two that we just did, once again, just switching between them, taking your time, pausing at each end. Halfway through this one, with 30 more seconds left. Nearly there, 20 seconds left on this one. Just nice, smooth, easy transitions between the two. Last one. Good, again, bring that front foot across, drop the knee down, and then lay over that ankle. Hips on top of the ankle, and trying to get that shin as parallel to the front of the mat as we possibly can, with those hips sat over that ankle. Again, feeling this in your glute and maybe slightly in your hip. Trying to relax down. If you can get your chest down onto the floor or your forehead, be amazing. But again, don't push it, just find that position that is stretching but not painful. You should be able to relax into the position. Again, we're spending 1 minute here, this is the last time for this side, and then we're going over to the side and repeating this one more time. So 4 more minutes left after this. Last 15 seconds in this position. Very, very slowly come out. you've got your little knee cushion, you can transition it over, and we're going one more time for a minute into this deep lunge position. Chest nice and open, hips pointed forward, front foot flat on the floor, knee not passing the toes. Hips pressing down into the ground. If you want to get the splits, we do these two stretches, so this one and the hamstring and the one that we do after are really good stretches to help with the splits. A little bit of extra gymnastics coming in there. Everyone wants the splits. I'm very doubtful that you do. 20 seconds left here. And then we are going into the hamstring stretch one more time. Again, if you need to shake off at any point, do. Just resting those hips into the floor. Hope it should be a little bit easier than the first time on this side. From here, sit your hips back, straighten your front leg, lean over that leg, hands go to the ground, toes go to the sky of the front foot. Yeah, long stretch of the back of this leg. Just relaxing here. Only pushing it as far as is good for you. It does not have to be all the way back or all the way straight. 25 seconds left. Okay, 10 more seconds and then we're going to transition between the two positions one more time. So when you're ready, go back into that deep lunge, chest nice and tall, hips pressed into the floor, and then we sit back into our hamstring. Again, transitioning nice and slowly between the two. No rush. Taking your time. This, and you have your pigeon left on this side, and then we are finished. Halfway through these transitions, take it nice and slow, feeling each end of the range of motion. Not forcing anything, not making anything hurt, just slowly moving between each end, each of the two positions. Last one. In each position, and then we're going to go into your pigeon, so bringing that foot across, dropping that knee down, and then sitting those hips over that ankle, and chest going down towards the floor. This is your last minute, and then we are all finished. Trying to relax over that ankle, big stretch through that glute. Again, if you want to take your chest down towards the floor or your forehead towards the ground, that is absolutely fine. And if you want to be sat nice and upright, you can still feel it, that's good too. 20 seconds left here. Last 10 seconds in this one. From here, bring your hands to the mat, take your foot back, press into a downward facing dog in your own time. Chest through towards legs, heels towards the floor. We're just going to drop our left heel down, bend our right leg, and then swap, so you're pedaling between your feet. And then very slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. If you need to bend your legs together, that is absolutely fine. Just hanging again in this forward folded position. Feeling the release through the lower back. Remove any tension there. Just twisting from side to side, so round towards the right leg, and then round towards the left. Once more each way, round towards the right, and then the left. And then ever so slowly come back to the centre. 2 big breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Same again, in through the nose, through the mouth. And from here, ever so slowly, start to roll yourself back up to standing. So tuck your bum, lower back comes first, and upper back sticks against the imaginary wall behind you. Shoulders roll open, chin lifts. Take your time standing up. And once you're up, 2 deep breaths in and out, in and out. Roll your shoulders up and back, and again, up and back, and you are all done. If you want to, you can go through the lower body stuff one more time, completely up to you.